What's going on, everyone? Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Mara Mentality podcast. Hope you guys are doing great. And if you haven't already, go and watch the last 2 episodes. I think you'll find a lot of helpful insights to that, as well as a little bit of who I am and why I started this podcast. But for this episode, I want to dive into what to do if you're working on a transformation for the first time and you're not seeing any results. There's a lot of people that have gone through and over this, right? Some people that have small followings, some people that have millions of followers. This comes down to your own professional opinion, what has worked for you, what you've seen work for other people, kind of taking a combination of everything. So that's basically the overall subject. The topics I'm going to be going in with it is consistency, as well as designing your identity versus chasing someone else's. This is all intertwined with each other, so I really hope you guys enjoy this episode, and let's get on with it. Welcome to the Mara Mentality Podcast. Alright guys, so first thing we're talking about, consistency. Specifically, how to stay disciplined, stick with it when you're not seeing results. And then I want to talk about how to identify unbreakable or unshakable habits when your motivation is gone. So I am training my friend right now, right? And he is going through a transformation, a lean bulk transformation to be specific. And he was telling me on a few phone calls, that's why I wanted to make this video, because he's been consistent with it. There's a lot of, or it seems like, self-doubt. Maybe there is your subconscious mind, or just a lot of self-doubt, meaning, do I really think I can get to this point by this time? And it's perfectly okay. But the reason that I'm talking about this is because I have been there, and this is what I was telling him. This is exactly where you develop the discipline. I know it might sound weird or whatever, but literally, that is the motivation to continue to do it. So let's say you're in, a month and a half of training and you're still not seeing results. Yes, that's going to suck. It's going to suck balls, and you're probably not going to want to continue to do what you're doing because you're not seeing any results. And it's human nature to get immediate results, right? So that's where we flip. That is where we switch the mindset. That's where we transition it. That is where we fucking snap out and break into this mentality, right? Of, okay, that means I gotta stay even more motivated to continue what I'm doing. Because what did Kyle tell me? Kyle told me that fitness is not an overnight process. Fitness is a month to month, year to year, really a life process. So we gotta take that. We gotta take that knowledge and we have to apply that to this exact situation. So that's why I'm saying a lot of people, they give up. If you just stick with it and you literally say what I just said out loud in that moment and throughout the day or week, whatever that time frame might be, just continue to say that, and you will literally trick your mind and develop that mindset of, oh shit, it's okay that I'm not seeing results right here, right now. Because if you really think about it, hasn't been that long. Hasn't been that long, friends. So think about that the next time you are starting this transformation and you're like, damn, I'm almost 2 months into this. I'm not seeing any results. What is going on? The second thing with consistency that I want to talk about is identifying unshakable habits when motivation is gone. So some examples for this that I think would really help, other than my years of training, would be my content creation and how the different levels of consistency not just changed the outcome, but affected me mentally, right? So obviously, your motivation can only last so long when it comes to having a spark or getting a spark, right? So like, let's say you sign up for an obstacle course, right? Boom, that's your spark, that's your motivation. Okay, you train for it, you do it, and it's over. Now, are you still motivated, or is that motivation gone? And I'm not saying that my motivation got lost after these things. My motivation actually sometimes would get lost at the most random times. And I have found that in the moment, I don't know why or what is really going on. But lately, especially nowadays, like, I understand what's going on, and it's just always crazy. And what it is literally taking the slightest touch, or really doing the slightest touch of like off consistency. I now notice that when I am not consistently running, consistently lifting, consistently eating the foods that I know work for me and that I actually should be eating, doing all those things, it's what makes this operation, this weapon, this body, this robot, whatever, completely work. But also be able to function at the highest, be the best version of myself, be sharp, right? And the moment that I'm not eating right, the moment that I start to not train, take a little bit off, maybe a few weeks, whatever, that type of stuff is what tells me, hey, this is really what you need to do in order to maintain some serious level of growth, right? Because that is really what the unshakable habit is doing all of those things, right? Being able to identify those, like taking a step back from yourself and identify those, is absolutely huge. Because if you can, it could save you years of confusion of, I used to be this way and now I'm this way. I used to do these things, but now I do these things. And for some, it might be for the better good. But for others, it could be something that's like, what the hell, So I just wanted to talk about those two things when it comes to consistency. Because, man, consistency is very hard. You can burn out fast, you can burn out over a long period of time, but really, if you are disciplined, that is going to help you stay consistent. But even more so, you won't have to worry about, oh my god, I'm not motivated. It's okay, I might not be as motivated today, but I still know what I need to get done, so I'm gonna do it, because I know what's on the flip side too. Right. So for this second half, I'm going to talk about designing your personal identity versus chasing someone else's. More specifically, why a lot of men chase external validation, other people's definitions of success, or comparison traps. How you can define your own version of greatness with purpose. This is a very exciting and honestly very personal topic to me, because I talk a lot about my why behind fitness, why I got into it, and then how that transitioned, right? So for those of you that don't know, this is literally the first video you're ever watching of me. I got into fitness because of a heartbreak, and that transitioned into literally just obsessing over bettering myself mentally and physically, right? So now that we've got that out of the way, the reason is because I didn't have an identity, right? I didn't have an identity, and I guess I was, in a way, chasing someone else's identity, right? At least at first, because that very quickly changed, like I was saying. And I want to talk about this because I just want to say, you should be comfortable in your own skin. You should love yourself, and you should be happy with who you are, what you are, and why you are what you are. You should never degrade yourself. You should never set yourself lower than what other people may say or think. And that's just the bottom line. So when I say chasing someone else's identity, I don't mean everything about their life. I just mean you're like You see someone with a certain physique that you want. That's your motivation to go out there and change it. You see someone with things that you want, but you don't have. That's your motivation to go out and do something. I just literally not meaning like consume your life into transforming like into that person, acting like them, talking like them, dressing like them, using the same toothpaste, hair products, skincare, all that stuff, because that's like a line. All I'm simply saying is, if you do not know what your own identity is, sometimes having a good role model or chasing someone else's physique or whatever, it can be beneficial, but it can also be negative. So why the heck do men chase external validation, especially when, you know, the transformation, it's not working for you, things that you've worked before, like the diet that you saw online, that's not working for you either. But then you go onto social media and you start comparing yourself. Call that the comparison trap, right? This is where I've caught myself a lot, and I blame it just on maybe just the time frame of the world I was born in, because growing up, social media wasn't really a thing. The older I've gotten, the more social media has become more mainstream, and the more toxic it has become. Meaning, again, comparison trap. Why do people get certain people? Why do people get into better financial situations? More money, more problems, more cars, what the heck ever. I've noticed that every single time it hits me in a negative fashion. It hits me in negative, puts me in a negative mindset. And I've also noticed too, especially with the people that I have helped or just answered questions for, is that I always come back to the same thing. Work on yourself. Because if you work on yourself, you're just focused on yourself. And all these other external factors that you might want, maybe not need, but want, they will come to you, or they might come to you, you know? And this is coming from somebody that literally chased women that were taken, you know? Stupid as that sounds, I gotta be straight up. I was denied every single time, and because guess what? They're taken, you know? I mean, obviously, if you're dating someone and someone comes up to them that is single, you would expect that person to say no, right? Because you want that person to be loyal to you. So, I've had years of that, and then I was finally, once I had what I wanted, and then I decided to get rid of it. That's when it was like a dagger, because it was just like, whoa. So that's when I was like, I have to create my own like purpose and identity, because that person, I was allowing that person to make me feel all these ways. And that's not right. And that's literally the most toxic thing you could probably ever do in your entire life. So, how I decided to define like my own version of greatness and purpose was just figuring out, and like consistently, this was not an overnight process, but just like trial and error, figuring out what I wanted to do. Obviously, like film and content creation has been like my grounding thing. It's what keeps me like just, okay, this is what you wanted to do way back then. Stay grounded, stay on point, and it's allowed me to make content creation throughout the years. You know, started off making like shitty content, like bad quality content, and now, in my opinion, the quality of the content is just drastically better than it was years and years ago. So that just goes to show you the consistency. But again, it goes to show you as well how choosing to work on yourself and defining your own version of greatness, it literally will switch your mindset in your whole entire life. Because I went from chasing women to chasing what I want, chasing all of these things that I didn't necessarily have, to just being like, it's okay. I'm just gonna literally work on me and work on the things that I need to personally work on, not things that I can go to the store and buy that will help me, but literally things that I can wake up, do myself, don't need anyone else, And that's the key. That is literally the freaking... So what does this all have to do with what to do if you're working on a transformation and you're not seeing any results? Well, the whole point of this was to basically preach to you that if you work on yourself and you just consistently do it, you are going to get to a point where the transformation overall is there and is working. And just like I tell the person that I'm training, it's going to come a day where you just wake up and the things that you've been seeing, it's just going to click. And I can't explain that for anybody other than, like, I can't explain that better than I can. Like, you have to experience that and go through that yourself. And without like taking the time to design your own identity and figure out, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and these are the steps, like, to do it, you need consistency. You need it, and it's hard. It's very, very hard. And sometimes you will be motivated, sometimes you won't be. But no matter what, as long as you understand that the word consistency is part of your life and part of your transformation, just know that you are going to get there. But if you stop, you never will. Just remember that. Just remember that. Alrighty, that's going to do it for episode 3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked it, if you enjoyed, if you learned something, or you think someone else could benefit from this, please give this a like and also share it. Comment your favorite part and comment what city you're from. I want to know where you guys are watching from, so that way I can pertain more stuff to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, this is available on all platforms: Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Audible as well. Make sure you give it a like and a follow. It really helps the podcast grow since it's brand new to everything. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in next episode. Peace.